As announced earlier, from today we are having a discussion on MCQs. So how do we solve MCQs? The idea is to help you, those who are preparing for UPSC preliminary examination as well as Group 1, both Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, because the quality of questions that are coming are almost similar. Of course, UPSC lo konta ekkuva standard definitely ga untundi, but we will begin with answering the previous year's questions, MCQs, taken from the UPSC preliminary examination. Okay, in the last 5 years, we have of course whatever questions that were asked in the UPSC preliminary examination, history questions, we will take one by one. నేను అవి విడిగా కూడా మీకు ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేస్తాను. ఐ విల్ ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ వన్ బై వన్ వాట్ ఆర్ ద ఆప్షనల్స్, what are the choices you have to take. And friends, after covering the previous year's questions, PYQs in prelims, we will also take up important aspects in each of the topics, each of the chapters in ancient, medieval, modern. We will also repeat this with the other subject over a period of time. So friends, let me take some previous year's questions. The questions are taken from the last 5 years examination of UPSC preliminary. So chala mandi entante they will not actually see the previous questions, answer cheyadam avi cheyaru kabatti optionals lo hidden points emiti, how do we select that anedi manam chuddam. I will share the screen for you where you can actually see the questions and also the answering can be done, right? So basically, if you see friends, these are the questions as you see on the screen. The previous year's questions. The program we are doing is Prelims Pilot Program 2024. This year those who are writing this kind of practice test for you, right? Telugu medium lo vallu kuda UPSC lo aithe you will have to answer the English questions only. You have to read the English questions only. Of course, if Telugulo kuda cheptanu for the purpose of Telugu medium aspirants of UPSC as well as Group 1. See, this question is, let us answer this, friends. With reference to the difference between the culture of the Rigvedic Aryans and the Indus Valley people, which of the following statements is or correct? Statement based questions are very much high in UPSC, so you have to be careful. అందుకే నేను ఎప్పుడు ఏం చెప్తానంటే, you also need to see the concepts. Prelims is not always facts, history is not always facts. They may give concepts. When you read NCERT or when you read other class notes or any other textbooks, you should try to make an analysis of observation of the concepts. For example, here see, the first statement is, Rigvedic Aryans used the coat of mail and helmet in warfare, whereas the people of Indus Valley civilization did not leave any evidence of using them. Very interesting statement. Okay, now let us see whether this is correct or not. There are some related questions that can come from here. Endukante Rigvedic Aryans are warlike people. They like war as a sport. And friends, what is coat of mail? Coat of mail is nothing but a kind of armor which is worn by the Aryans, made up of iron rings. బాహుబలి ఇటువంటి సినిమాల్లో కనిపిస్తూ ఉంటారు, ఇనప గొలుసులతో వేసినటువంటి కవచం, ఆర్మౌర్. ఓకే, దీన్ని కోట్ ఆఫ్ మెయిల్ అంటారు. సో ఆబ్వియస్లీ the related, how do you answer this in case you have not come across this? Aryans are known for warfare. Aryans have also the knowledge of iron. They are the people who brought iron to India. So obviously వీళ్ళకి ఉండే అవకాశం ఉంది. This is a fact also. Weapons have been found, these things have been found in archaeological excavations, and even in warfare there are reference to what kind of things they are wearing. So yes, the statement 1 is correct. And of course, Indus people, we know that they are peace loving people, so it was not actually mentioned what kind of warfare they had. Very few number of weapons, copper weapons have been discovered. They never used these helmets, శిరస్త్రాణాలు కానీ కవచాలు కానీ వాళ్ళు వేసుకోలేదు. సో statement 1 is correct. Then Rigvedic Aryans knew gold, silver and copper, whereas Indus Valley people knew only copper and iron. Obviously it is wrong. Indus Valley civilization is a Bronze Age civilization, whereas Aryan culture or Vedic culture, Vedic period is a in iron age culture. So obviously here it is wrong because Indus Valley did not know the iron. So this statement is wrong. Third statement, regular horse, whereas there is no evidence of Indus Valley people having been aware of animal. Very much correct. There could be a related question here. When we say horse was not known, there is something called superficial evidence which has been discovered in Surka Toda in Gujarat. Okay, Gujarat lo unna Surka Toda lo horse ki sambandhinchina superficial evidence has been found, but it is not entirely clear whether these layers belong to the Harappan period or even these are the bones of horse or not also. So there may be two bits. On one hand, you should remember that Harappans did not know horse. On the other hand, if there is a question on the superficial evidence for horse has been discovered at which of the following places, you have to write Surka Toda. So anyway, answer for this question is, I said 1 is correct, second is wrong, 3 is correct. Okay, so 1 and 3, answer for this is actually C. Okay, then it's a simple question, but let me explain. Who among the following were or was associated with the introduction of Raitwari settlement in India? They have again Cornwallis. Cornwallis is actually associated with the Permanent Settlement Act or Jamindari Act. He is not associated with the Raitwari or Mahalwari. Captain Reed, Captain Alexander Reed and Thomas Munro. It was actually Thomas Munro was later became the governor. Initially it was Captain Reed. Okay, so it was Captain Reed and Thomas Munro who were involved in introduction of Raitwari system in India. Instead of Alexander Reed, they may as well give Captain Reed, and Thomas Munro later he became the governor of Madras, right? Coming to Cornwallis, apart from deciding on the Permanent Settlement Act, there could be other questions also. Very interesting. If you see entire East India Company officials from say Regulating Act to 1857 revolt, after Canning proclamation, except Cornwallis, everybody was an East India Company official. Cornwallis was not an official, he was a manorial lord. He is like a landlord, or he is like a Bhuswami in London. He has lot of lands, he is a lord, very rich man, lot of agricultural lands. Inni agricultural lands ఉన్నాయి కాబట్టి వ్యవసాయం గురించి నీకు ఎక్కువ తెలుస్తుంది అని ఆలోచించి ఈయన్ని ఈస్ట్ ఇండియా కంపెనీ బాబు మీరు మా గవర్నర్గా ఉండి పెట్టండి అని అడగడం జరిగింది. సో కార్న్వాలిస్ కేమ్ విత్ ద స్పెసిఫిక్ టాస్క్ ఆఫ్ రిఫార్మింగ్ ల్యాండ్ రెవెన్యూ అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్. ల్యాండ్ రెవెన్యూ పరిపాలన సంస్కరించడానికి, బికాజ్ వారన్ హేస్టింగ్స్ వాట్ ఎవర్ ఇట్ డిడ్ ఇన్ ఎక్స్పెరిమెంటింగ్ ఆఫ్ ఫార్షనింగ్ అండ్ ఆల్ దట్ ఇట్ డిడ్ నాట్ హెల్ప్. సో ఆబ్వియస్లీ he has actually done that. The next important point is, so here the answer is 2 and 3. Again second question answer is C, friends. This is an interesting, which of the following was a very important seaport in the Kakatiya kingdom? See, this is a civils question, but friends, questions on regional kingdoms, important regional kingdoms of Andhra, or Harshavardhan or Kashmir, then we have Chalukyas and Pallavas, Shatavahanas, even mains lo kuda there was a Shatavahana question 2 years back. So sometimes it is very much possible that this kind of question can come. Here the answer is Motupalli. There is an inscription here, Motupalli inscription. This is very important, especially for group 1 aspirants also, both Telangana and Andhra. Ee Motupalli Abhayasasanam antaru dinni. What is this Abhayasasanam of Motupalli? Ganapati Devudu, కాకతీయ రూలర్ గణపతి దేవుడు ఈ మోటుపల్లి శాసనంలో విదేశీ వ్యాపారులకు ఇచ్చే రక్షణ గురించి పేర్కొన్నాడు. ద ప్రొటెక్షన్ దట్ ఆర్ మెన్షన్ దట్ ఆర్ గివెన్, ద ప్రొటెక్టివ్ మెజర్స్ దట్ ఆర్ గివెన్ టు ద ఫారిన్ ట్రేడర్స్ వాజ్ మెన్షన్డ్ ఇన్ దిస్ అభయ ఇన్స్క్రిప్షన్ ఆఫ్ మోటుపల్లి ఆఫ్ గణపతి దేవ. సో దీన్ని ఎవరు ఇష్యూ చేశారు అంటే గణపతి దేవుడు ఇష్యూ చేశారని గుర్తుపెట్టుకోవాలి. ఆన్సర్ ఇస్ బి. Then friends, this is interesting. There are regular questions on religion and philosophy in UPSC Prelims. Even group 1 lo kuda chala important ivi. So with reference to the religious history of India, consider the following statements. Sautantrika and Samitiya were the sects of Jainism, right? Then Sarvastivadin held that the constituents of phenomena were not wholly momentary but existed forever in the latent form. These are very as far as religion and philosophy is concerned, see, if you see the Buddhist sects, what are the sects of Buddhism? You know, we have the first schism in Buddhism that started in the second Buddhist council at Vaisali. What are the different sects in Buddhism? You know, there are initially 8 sects of Buddhism, such as Taviravadins, Theravadins, then Mahasangikas. So, Kathavattu, very important point I want to add you. This question can be asked differently also. First of all, Sautantrikas and Samityas are not associated with Jainism. They are associated with Buddhism. In Kathavattu section of the Tripitakas, Abhidhamma Pitaka, these are mentioned as Buddhist sects. So the first statement was wrong. The second statement is correct. Sarvastivadins, their philosophy held that the phenomena were not only momentary, but existed forever in a latent form. It's like physics. Energy is constant, right? If you see energy is constant, it will be here or there in the whole system. In the similar way, all things exist. This is the philosophy of Sarvastivadins. So they can also give this in a different way. All things exist అనేది కూడా వీళ్ళ philosophy అని చెప్పచ్చు. So here friends, the statement first one wrong. Statement 1 was wrong because it is actually Sautantrika or Samityas were not Jain sects. It is Buddhism. Okay, and second is correct. So answer will be only 2 only. 2 is correct. The next question is, let us see, in the context of Indian history, the principle of diarchy refers to, see, we have there are dual government from 1765 to 1772 in Bengal, that is cannot be called diarchy. You may get confused here. Bengal lo 1765 నుంచి 1770 వరకు ద్వంద్వ ప్రభుత్వం ఉంది, where Diwani and rights, Nizamat powers are separated between Bengal Nawab and the East India Company. East India Company will have a Diwan appointed, whereas Nizamat powers are under the Bengal Nawab. This is double government antaru, Dvandva Prabhutvam antaru Telugulo. It is not dual government, so don't get confused. So division of central legislatures into 2 houses, is this related to modern India? It is not correct. Introduction of double government at central and state government is not double government. Having 2 sets of rulers, one in London and another in Delhi, is bullshit. Then division of the subjects delegated to province and 2 categories, this is correct. This is the double government. Diarchy was introduced by the British in the Government of India Acts, right? So that is the point here. So answer is D. For question number 5, answer is D. Then friends, of course, this is the painting of Bodhisattva Padmapani. He is also called Avalokiteshvara. This bit was repeated in a different form. In other year also, the painting of Bodhisattva Padmapani is one of the most famous and oft illustrated paintings at Ajanta. Okay, that's a very important thing. And friend, another important thing is there is a replicate smaller version of these also are in Ellora. Okay, but the answer for this should be A. Then consider the following statements. Which are the statements are correctly matched? Friends, this Chaliha Sahib festival is related to Sindhis. In fact, they may also ask when it is celebrated, in July and August. Generally this is celebrated, and this is correct. Nandara's Jat Yatra is not related to Gonds. It's already there. It is given as Jat. Okay, this is in Madhya Pradesh. Then Wari Varkari is not related to Santals. Santals are in Bengal. This is a Maharashtrian festival which is related to the worship of Panduranga. Okay, so this is not Santals, this is Hindus generally, and it is Maharashtra. Now see, instead of giving this, they may give the geographies also where it is happening. So you have to be remembering this. So here the answer is only 1. A answer is only 1 correct. Then friends, I want to tell you there is an interesting development here. Which of the following are famous for sun temples? Arsavalli in Andhra Pradesh had the sun temple. That is the only answer. But Amarkantak they can ask differently. Amarkantak or Omkareshwar are also Shaivite centers. But in Amarkantak, there is one very interesting development. There is a Jain temple. It is called Sarvodaya Digambara Jain temple at Amarkantak. Okay, Sarvodaya Digambara, make a note of it. Sarvodaya Digambara Jain temple, and here we have a large statue, 24-ton statue of the first Jain Tirthankara Adinada Rushabhanada, that is also at Amarkantak. So here anyway the answer for 8 is only 1, right? Then next one, with reference to the freedom struggle, consider the following events. Here mutiny in Royal Indian Navy, Quit India movement, then second round table conference. Obviously the chronological order, this type of questions are becoming more and more in UPSC. They are also giving dynasties, put them in chronological order. And another paper, the question which we will be saying in the due course, post-Guptan dynasties have been asked. The dynasties that came up, regional dynasties between Guptas and Harshavardhan, they were asked to be put in a chronological order. So you have to be very careful. Superficial reading is not going to help you there. Okay, now anyway, let's see. The second round table conference is of course the first one. Answer is 3. Then 2 is the second one, Quit India movement. The Royal Indian Naval Mutiny, it is called RIN Mutiny, not Superpower RIN. Okay, RIN, Royal Indian Naval Mutiny, is the final leg along with INA trials, where the British felt that the patriotism has also gone into the ఆర్మీ. అంటే సైనికుల్లో వాళ్ళు ఎందుకు పరిపాలించగలిగారు అన్ని రోజులు, భారతదేశంలో జాతీయతావాదం లేదు. బట్ దెన్ వన్స్ ఇట్ ఈస్ ఆఫ్టర్ క్విట్ ఇండియా మూమెంట్, ఎవ్రీవేర్ నేషనలిజం, పేట్రియాటిజం అనేది స్ప్రెడ్ అయింది. ఇంక సైనికుల్లో కూడా తిరుగుబాటు వస్తే వాళ్ళు చేయగలిగింది ఏం లేదు. సో రాయల్ ఇండియన్ నేవల్ మ్యూటినీ సిగ్నిఫికెంట్ because it proved that national sentiment also entered into the ranks of the British Indian Army. బ్రిటిష్ ఇండియన్ ఆర్మీలో కూడా జాతీయతా భావం ప్రవేశించింది. ఆర్మీని చూపించి ఇంకా భారతదేశాన్ని మనం ఆపలేం అనే భావం వీళ్ళకి అప్పుడే తెలిసింది. సో దట్ ఈస్ వై ఇట్ ఈస్ వన్ ఆఫ్ ద ఇంపార్టెంట్ డెసిషన్స్ టు మేక్ ఇండియా మేక్ బ్రిటిష్ టు డిసైడ్ టు గివ్ ఫ్రీడమ్ టు ఇండియా. ఓకే, సో ద సీక్వెన్స్ హియర్ విల్ బి 3-2-1. Then which of the following books of ancient India has the life story of the son of the founder of Sunga dynasty? That is Agnimitra, right? Sunga, Pushyamitra Sunga's son. It is Madhavika Agnimitra. They may also ask you that who actually wrote this. That is also very much likely to be asked. So obviously friends, if you see, this is how you need to practice the questions. We will do this almost 10-10. Most important, first we will complete the previous questions of PYQs of UPSC Civil Services Examination History questions for some time, so that some of them could be repeated in that form or the same form or in a different form, and it is also gives you some kind of insight on how do you read, ఎలా ఆన్సర్ చేయాలి, ఎలా అర్థం చేసుకోవాలి క్వశ్చన్స్ అనేది తెలియజేస్తుంది. ఈ PYQs లాస్ట్ 5 years చూస్తే ఆల్మోస్ట్ మనకి 80-85 ఉన్నాయి. And before that also last 10 years చూస్తే I have more questions, and after that every chapter I will try to give you some important questions. Okay, so this is how we go about it friends, and we'll meet you again. Thank you.